Welcome to our latest video. Imagine that it's 1950 and you've got tickets to ride Santa Fe's Super Chief. We're going to ride the 1343, now the Maurice Beckham. Come on board. Welcome on board the Maurice Beckham. My name is Steve Hanson. I've been a volunteer for the Austin and Texas Central Railroad since 1999. This car was on that train back when I first started working, and one of the oldest cars that we've had, not in terms of its age, but of how long we've used it on the entire train. You're in the lounge area of the Maurice Beckham car, originally called 1343. This is Maurice Beckham. I'll talk about him in just a moment. In the back area behind me was the crew dormitory. There would normally be a door. The passengers wouldn't go bother the crew. The passengers would come in and have beverages and something to eat in this lounge area, and behind the lounge area was the barbershop and shower. This car ran on the Super Chief out of Los Angeles to Chicago. A lot of the famous people, movie actors from the 40s and 50s, would ride on this train and no doubt were in this car, but they would usually get on not in Los Angeles but in Pasadena so they could avoid all the photographers that were there to see them off. So after its service on the Santa Fe Railroad, in 1971, the car was transferred to Amtrak, which is also the National Passenger Railroad Corporation. Notice this sign right here. That's evidence that it was on board the train, and this tells the reader where the liquor licenses were held. So in 1982, Amtrak no longer needed it and sold it to Charles Turner, who is the president of the Georgetown Railroad. Then in the early 1990s, the Maurice Beckham car, which didn't have that name at that time, was transferred to the Austin Steam Train Association for use on the Hill Country Flyer. So let's go back out into the lounge where it's more comfortable and we'll see what there is to see. The Maurice Beckham car was one of the first 3 air-conditioned cars that Austin Steam Train had in its fleet. It simply had a number for the longest time, or people called it the Santa Fe car. This gentleman here, Maurice Beckham, had been a volunteer from 1993 to 2015. In 2015, we renamed this car for Maurice. He would roam the train, telling stories, playing goofy games, doing the chicken dance, wishing people happy birthday. He was really an ambassador for the railroad. We all miss Maurice, and we were most pleased to name this car after him. Let's go into the compartment. This compartment can be reserved for passengers to ride in today, but back in the day, in the 1950s and 60s, it was used by the crew as a dormitory, an escape from the rest of the train. They would have bunks in here, and we have decorated it with a number of Santa Fe visual items, such as these tapestries, magazine ads, and a graphic of what the side view of the car would have looked like. So enjoy your visit in the compartment, and I'll step out and let you have a look. So we're back in the lounge of the Maurice Beckham with its tables and chairs, but this table is pretty unique because it came from the Southern Railway, which is not a railroad that you hear much around in Central Texas. It ran from DC to Atlanta to New Orleans. It came from the 1930s and 40s. The S in the center indicates, yes, it was from the Southern Railway. So we're really pleased to have this tabletop, which is an actual item from a diner of that period. So we're back outside the Maurice Beckham. I'm not sure if my microphone is picking up this generator, but right now this is how we power all the train cars on the Hill Country Flyer and Bertrand Flyer. We are in the process of converting a baggage car to a generator car so that we don't have to hear this in our passenger cars. We have a whole nother series about that generator car that we invite you to tune into. So we want to thank you for watching today's video. And be sure to check our website for more. The Austin and Texas Central Railroad is always looking for volunteers that can help us work on the cars during the week. We also need volunteers to work on board the actual train rides and volunteers to be brakemen, firemen, and engineers and conductors. So it's a big organization that has a lot of volunteer effort. I'm Steve Hanson. I want to thank you for being with us today. Thank you.